welcome to my YouTube channel. Yes, I need to do it a long time, but before I even say anything today, just type that congratulations. I want to see congratulations rolling in the chat box. I mean, congratulations. Can you guess what I'm holding? Can you take a guess? Are you ready? You want to tell them what it is? And by the way, let me introduce you to the newest member of this community, Oluwa Dolabomi Omolo Fela. Yes, this is my son and my second child, and I'm super grateful to God. You know, I took some breaks up when I had them, but I'm glad to be back here, and I have good news. I mean, I came very good news. Whoop. Let me drop this first. I can share the good news for you. Are you ready? You want to stay in your car? Mama needs to do a video. Is that okay, baby? I'm coming.
You got a whole other meaning. I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning.
Whoop. I am officially a Canadian RN. So that's it, guys. It's sorry. Last time when I was thinking about filming this, I was just like, how? God, how? But hey, God did it. So today I'm just going to be sharing my Canadian RN journey with everyone and to encourage everyone out there. Honestly, you know, it's one of my dreams come true, because of course, why did I migrate to Canada? To be an RN, practice an RN, and all the rest of it. And was it frustrating? Yes, it was frustrating, and I did cry a lot of times. But I'm so happy. I don't know what to say. Anyways, let's get to business. So I initially migrated to Canada in 2019, and before I did, my husband, I don't know, that bad is thank you, baby, for everything. So my husband had started my NNAS for me. He did started it for me, and he just had to tell me to download my forms. I did, and I started the Canadian RN journey and the rest of it. So I came into Canada in November, and by I think October of 2020 was when I got my first NNAS report. And the report says I was somewhat comparable for LPN and not comparable for the Canadian RN standard. So somewhat means I can practice safely as a licensed practical nurse after attempting the necessary examination. And not comparable means that I cannot practice as RN here, except of course I do bridging programs and all of it. So I applied to CANA, which is College of Licensed Practical Nurse Alberta. I'm in Alberta, and I was told to pick between two: do an app exam or do what is it called now, or go for bridging program. And I've heard horrible stories about the bridging program, like you don't get to take people on time. They have just one school offering the bridging program. Even at this moment as I speak, someone I know on my group that got it at the 5th attempt. So it's not a very palatable experience, actually, if you ask me. So I thought to, so what I did was that I started with LPN as a licensed practical nurse. I wrote my exam, and then I initially got my license. I initially got my temporary license, which is valid for a year. So once you're done with all your documentations for LPN, and then you are able to write your jurisprudence exam, pay $50 to write your jurisprudence exam. It's a 4 hours exam, timed. You can do it within the comfort of your home. I did that, and I passed, and I got my temporary license. But Zion was about a few months old then, so I couldn't start working on time. If I had known, I'll have just brought my mom in, then worked, so the essence of doing videos like this is to make sure that others avoid the mistake that we did, you know. So I would have started working, and I wouldn't even have bothered with doing the CPNRE exam. That is the main exam that you need to get your full licensure. I will have just struggled so hard to make sure I get my RN within that 1 year of having my temporary license. Do you get what I mean? So what I mean is, if you're just starting your Canadian RN journey and you're looking to start at the LPN, what I would advise you to do is that you should, you know, get your temporary license within that 1 year. I think for CNO is valid for 2 years. For Alberta is valid for 1 year. That's your temporary license. When you get that temporary license, why don't you just start working with that? Because you're going to work with that. Although they require that we are supervised, we should work under supervision. But nurses, we need nurses. So I did work under supervision, but it wasn't like tailor me up and that kind of supervision. They just wanted to be sure that I'm capable, and then the procedures I couldn't do, I did not put myself to doing it. Yes. So basically, during that 1 year or 2 years, try to get your Canadian RL licensure. So you might probably not need to do your CPNRE, because trust me, I had issues with exams, because in Canada everybody is busy. Everybody have their life to live, and I think that's one of the things about moving abroad. It's sedentary, it's tiring, it's lonely, and I don't want to hear move back to Nigeria. No, I'm not saying this because I want to move back to Nigeria. I'm happy here with my husband and my children. They are my world, and I'm so happy with them. But I'm just saying it to prepare your mind. So for someone like me that loves to read with people, I find it very hard to read alone for my exams. It was so tough for me. I like group reading. I can't remember the last time I read alone. Shobandi was always there for me. Umbadua Linda, Atoyebi Omolara. We read together. Toby Adekoya, Precious sometimes, but Precious does not stay with us all the time. Olivia sometimes too, because they stay out of campus. And when I got here, I really miss those guys, and I really miss them, and I felt like, oh my god, I miss them so much. I wish I'd gone to UK and all these things. I was saying a lot of them. I was like, this is where God wants you to be, and really this is where God wants me to be, in Canada and not UK. And I'm grateful to God that He stood by that promise. So another thing I want us to hold fast, not even Canadian arrange journey alone, in any journey of life, hold God fast. God had told me from beginning that I'm going to practice as a nurse, and then He stood beside that promise, always coming for me, always coming through for me, I mean to say. So when I wrote my the first attempt of my CPNRE, I did not pass the exam. I felt really broken, and I thought to try again the second time. Though I met a lady here, Timelaine by name. She told me about a lecturer that tutors people on CPNRE examination preparation, because exam is not just about what did I read. You need strategies to answer this. You cannot read all the books, and there are some strategies that when you know and you read your books as well, you merge them together, putting God first, my dear, it's all done. OT law, you get your license, you get everything you need, So I felt, I think I have a grasp of it. So I attended a free session by Breeden Center. That's another thing in Canada. There are a lot of support here for you, So the Breeden Center in Alberta, they organized CPNRE tutorials for us. I did attend, and I felt like I had a grasp. The second time I did, my dear sister and brothers, I failed again. And at the third time, I told myself it's not going to happen. Our patience shall not rise again. It's not like I'm not brilliant. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't just feel very comfortable reading alone, number one. Number two, objective questions, multiple choice questions are not my strong suit. They are not. I love talking. I love expression. I love to be expressive. I love expressive examination where I can, tell you about pathophysiology. It's not like I'm a guru in these things, but there's a way I find it easy to relate things with things in my environment, and I'm able to explain things to people, and they're like, I think you're making a point. But when it comes to objective, I think I was not equipped enough with the knowledge I need, because objective is deeper than expression. Somebody can just tell me something, and I'm like, but objective, you either know it or you don't. So I lack that basic skills. I'm not going to lie to you. And at the third time I went to Calgary. Calgary is about say some 2-3 hours from me. Yes, 3 hours from me. I took the bus because the lecturer was going to be in Calgary to teach me for 7 days. I paid the examination, the fee she requested, $1,100 actually, $100 for the book, and she returned it to us after the exam, because she had some books she'll give you that are physical books you have to read. So it was 7 days. That 7 days was hell for me. I tell you, it was hell for me because I was away from my family, and I had to squat with her in her room. We had to sleep on the same bed together. I don't mind the things I do, even in Nigeria, like trying to survive, because I was not born with a silver spoon, right? So I basically had survived all my life. I had also many things to survive in my life, and I don't know. I don't want the stairs to drop. And I saw it as a survivor. It was really cold. I remember it was during the winter, and I had to travel all the way from Edmonton to Calgary to do the lectures for the exam. And at that point, I knew I was pregnant with my son, Ariolua. And in that class, I tell you, I was sleeping every day in that class. Every day I was sleeping, and the lecturer would like, Helen has slept again. People would laugh and make jest of me, but I knew while I was sleeping I was pregnant. Though for Zion, I didn't have those symptoms. I was also for vomiting, and then I vomited almost every day, but I didn't let anyone know. But I was always sleeping at the particular time of the day because of the pregnancy, early sizes, and all that thing. But I didn't want people to know, so I just helped myself. But people were laughing at me for sleeping in class. But of course, I thank God I was still getting things that I needed to get. And thankfully, after the exam, that's why it's not logical for us to make jest of people when they're in a certain situation, because you can't tell what they're facing. I couldn't open my mouth to tell everybody, I am pregnant with my second child. Of course not. So I just felt, okay, we move. And I was doing it. And I thank God that I passed it. I took the exam. My son was, I think, I should be about 6 months or thereabout, or 7 when I took the exam. And I'm thankful for that I passed the exam, And the day before my exam was 31st, if I'm right, or thereabout, 30th, or maybe March was my exam. I can't remember anymore. So I think 30th was a day I went to do my scan, and my husband had told the sonographer, please don't tell my wife what she's gonna have, because he knows that if I knew again I'm having another boy, I will not write that exam. If I write that exam, I'm not going to write it with the right frame of mind that I need to pass that exam. I might even cry myself out to the point of, So he told them not to tell me, and then we came home. He hid the result. He didn't allow me to see it until after my exam, and the rest is, I cried. I think I shared that before now. But I'm thankful to God I passed that. So I started working as LPN with Manchester Rose Healthcare, and then that was how my journey started as a nurse in Canada. I started working with Manchester Rose in 2020. Yes, 2020 September, I think, was when I started working with Manchester Rose Healthcare. Yeah, that's 2020 September. Yeah, that was when I started. Was it 2020? No, 2020 is what I mean to say, not 2020. 2020 was when I got my NNAS report. So 2021 September, I started working with Manchester Rose. So my 1 year, what is it called now? My 1 year temporary licensure was going to expire, I think, around June of 2020. No, May of 2022. So it means that if I don't pass my exam at the last trial, I can't even practice as LPN. I can't practice as RN because I don't have the necessary licensure for RN. So I felt like, oh my God, this cannot happen to me. It was really a tough one for me, because imagine your life is going to be on hold because you could not pass an examination, which is objective, and because you could. I'm just thankful to God, because so my husband just said don't attempt going to work, because it's criminal offense if you attempt going to work when your license is expired. It's criminal. In fact, when I eventually passed, they sent a mail and I think a letter to my place of work to find out, to make sure that I didn't work at that time. So if your license is expired, you're trying to renew, please don't attempt working, because they will make findings, and if they fish you out, you know what can happen. This is Canada, not Nigeria. So afterwards, we started hearing of New Brunswick, and the fact that they now give people the opportunity to challenge NCLEX. So my husband felt that that's a good idea. But then at that time, I think that was November 2022. Sorry, November 2021 that I first heard about New Brunswick and all these things. I had passed my exam then, of course. And I felt like, because people were saying you have to move there with your family, I felt like we have a home here, we have our mortgage running. How do I move there with my family for 6 months to get your 1125 required hours? I'm just looking at my son. So I felt, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to write an ANAP exam. And again, the ANAP exam was $2,000. There is no resources. I've checked online, no materials for this ANAP exam. And the things I've heard about it is that when people write the exam, they still tell them to do bridging courses for those that, cannot make it, or maybe they didn't make it well, or, and a lot of things around here. They give these people the free pass, Philippines and Asians and all these Chinese people. But when it comes to Nigeria, it's just really difficult. I don't know why. So I felt, this is scary. What do I do with my life? So I had a chat with my brother-in-law, and he said he feels it's just fear of the unknown. That why don't I just write the exam? Like, just write the exam. By the time you get to the bridge of, am I supposed to move to New Brunswick with my family, that will cross it. That instead of you to just wait and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. So I felt, okay, let me take this advice. So by the time I wanted to write that exam, my NNS had expired. Because you need that NNS portal, the result, the AR, which is advisory report, for them to, port that report to the province. The province actually decides all the things that happen with your calendar and realization, not necessarily NNA. NNA is just a body to assess you. And I felt like, okay, so where do we go from here? I had to pay another $1,000. And that's why I keep saying that if you have your NNAs running and you're not sure which province you want to go yet, you have to buy yourself time. Yes, I said what I said. Buy yourself some time. The only reason that you can buy yourself some time is to port another. So before the NNAs expire, port another province that you know that they may give you eligibility. Even if they won't give you eligibility, just port there so that you are buying yourself one more year. That was what my friend did, but I didn't know on time. If you port on that province, let's say NNA is supposed to expire in May. If you port by January, by that time, if you port to say another province, you would have bought yourself one extra year. If you don't understand what I mean, please put your question in the comment section and I'll read them and I'll respond. Buy yourself that extra 1 year, very important, please. So that is running and then you can easily safely transfer your license there. Because by the time you transfer to a province, you have 1 year with them. Your license is valid with them for 1 year. So if I had transferred my AR to New Brunswick, if I knew on time, I'll have had 1 year with New Brunswick. So I had to pay another 1,000 CAD for my NNAs. So I paid and then I called them to say, oh, I have all. So another thing they do is that if you submit your credentials, licensure and all these things within space of 3 years, if you're still within 3 years, you don't have to submit any other thing to them again. Do you get? So when I submitted, it was in 2019, remember, and it was in 2022 that I was telling them that it was 2022 that I bought my way in again. That was 2020 because it's 2023. 2022 April, so it was within 3 years. So I did not submit any other thing to NNS again. I just moved from there. So what they told me that really shocked me was that I had to be on the queue again. I'm like, what? How? And I've gotten this report before. What I need is just for you to give me the report again. They said, no, I have to go and join. So it means that I don't have any problem. Everything is ready for review and all this thing, but I still have to wait on the queue. That really broke me again. I'm like, okay, I'll wait. So I did the 12 weeks wait over. And when
the meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up.
So after the 12 hours wait, I had to send an email to the director and then explaining my plight and all of it. Within a week, I got my AR again. That's advisory report. So if you hear AR, it means advisory report. I got my advisory report, and I was able to port it to the province that I needed to port it to. That's New Brunswick. So I ported there, and I was waiting. It didn't take time at all before I got them to email me back. I paid the because for every time you are transferring your AR to another province, you have to pay their own fee. They also have the fee. The NAS will charge you. Then they will also charge you their registration fee, which I think was about over $400. And then everything was like within a week, was so fast happening. And before you know it, I got my ATT. And when I got my ATT, I was just really like, excuse me, am I getting ATT right? And click or something else. And I think I kind of had PTSD kind of. I would say it was traumatic for me to remember that I did not pass my LPN exam at first, and now you want me to write the NCLEX exam. How am I going to cope? So it was really, I kept referring myself to the fact that I didn't make my exam at first with LPN and kept judging with that. So it affected and it kind of clouded my judgment and reasoning, and it was really bad. I was acting like someone that was in labor, wanted to give it a baby, and then you're pacing around. It took my husband to just give me, oh, relax, everything will be fine, everything will be fine. It's very good to have very good support system around you. I spoke to a couple of friends and they were like encouraging. They were, no, that doesn't mean to happen this time and all that. So I started preparing for the exam, bought shoe, bought simple notes. I'm still going to make an expressive video on how I prepared for NCLEX. This is not to talk about how I prepared for NCLEX. This is just to, announce to you guys that I have a new title, So yeah, and to God be the glory, I passed the exam, took a lot of effort from my family and friends. I do not take the support that I got from my husband for granted. So it's really a great day when somebody has to leave their job for close to a month just so you can have time to read, take care of the children. He was practically the one making food for us, lunch, dinner, breakfast. Oh babe, what will you take this morning? Bring food for me when I'm cooking. I really appreciate you, babe. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm still going to, like I said, I'm still going to make a video in detail. I don't want this to be too long because I find out that people don't even watch the video to the end and they kind of have a lot of misplaced information. They don't, so I want to make sure that I'm cutting the video as much as I can. So I would see you guys soon again. I promise we're going to try and be roughing it together. At least having our weekly videos. Yeah, so let me know if you have questions in the comment section about Canadian licensure. I'm still going to do another video as well talking about there are new things happening right now you need to stay abreast of, one of which is the fact that you don't need IELTS anymore at NNS level, but I'm going to make that video, trust me. So that was it. I prepared for the exam and it was good. I'm still going to talk about I don't want to go into my NCLEX journey right now. So if you're yet to subscribe to the channel, ensure to subscribe. Ensure to share this video with somebody else to encourage them. The Canadian nursing licensure is not beans. It's what you get. You can get frustrated and tired at the middle of the road or at the beginning, at the end. Yes, it will happen. You will face it, but it is doable. Is it doable? Yes. Is God going to help you? Yes. Will He send helper? Yes, because He did for me. So like I said, when I talk about the NCLEX examination, you will get to hear some other juicy part of this. I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care.